Today, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on what's transpired over the weekend during this NFL season. But before we get started, I want to tell you guys to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share, and tell a friend, and tell a friend, and tell a friend to support my channel. Week 5 of the NFL season happened yesterday. We had some fantastic games, some incredible moments, and even some more moments to come. But yeah, it was a good weekend. It was a good weekend of some NFL football. You know, it was a good weekend. Some interesting teams, some surprises, some epic performances, all of that. And I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts and some things that's kind of caught my eye, not just from the weekend, but also for this season. And the one team I want to talk about is the Baltimore Ravens. And unfortunately, things are not going too well for the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens lost to the Houston Texans 44-10. That's right. The Baltimore Ravens lost 44-10. And the Baltimore Ravens, before the season started, were the team that myself admittedly predicted would win the Super Bowl. That's right. I admitted it. I picked the Baltimore Ravens to represent the AFC and win the Super Bowl. And like I said, things are not going too well for the Ravens. They have been a disaster. Things are imploding for the Baltimore Ravens. They are a mess. Yeah, they've had injuries. I think they're missing like 8 guys, if I'm not mistaken. And so they're clearly injured. Lamar Jackson did not play in this game against Houston. But make no mistake about it, the Baltimore Ravens have imploded. They are terrible, and things are going to have to change for the Baltimore Ravens. It's just the facts right now. The Baltimore Ravens are just a bad, horrible team right now. And they've been the biggest disappointment in the NFL. And they've been a big disappointment for me because, like I said, I picked them to go to the Super Bowl and win it. And it's looking pretty unlikely that that's going to happen, especially with how things are looking for the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, they're just a disaster. Lamar Jackson, I mean, you look at the 4 losses that they've had this season, they're 1-4. And in all 4 losses, they've given up 35 points or more in every game. And in 2 of those 4 losses, they've given up over 40 points. And so, yeah, the Baltimore Ravens are trash. They're just a trash team right now, and they're specifically trash mainly. Look, it's not the only reason that they're trash, but mainly, if you want to look at the number one reason why the Baltimore Ravens are terrible right now, is because they don't have a defense. Their defense is flat out atrocious. Like I said, they gave up 44 points to the Houston Texans. By the way, the same Houston Texans team that came into the week struggling on the offensive side of the ball. C.J. Stroud was looking like people would look at him as like a big disappointment as a quarterback coming into the league, coming into the season, and coming into this week. And their offensive line has had issues. They've had guys out injured as well, and it just didn't matter against the Baltimore Ravens. C.J. Stroud was able to just pick apart, slice and dice, make plays with his arm as well as his legs. He threw for 4 touchdowns. I mean, C.J. Stroud looked like the stud that I thought he was as a rookie. Like, he looked like he was back in his rookie form. You know, C.J. Stroud had some of these comments last week about how he thought he was losing some athleticism and how he wasn't as athletic as he once was and all of this stuff, and people killed him for it. He looked pretty athletic to me on Sunday against the Ravens because, like I said, man, he did anything that he wanted to do. He was able to make plays with his arm, his legs. They were able to run the ball as well with Nick Chubb. talking about the Houston Texans, and the Baltimore Ravens just could not stop it at all game long. And their defense is horrible. And this is the Baltimore Ravens we're talking about here. Like, I've watched football for 25 plus years. The thing about the Baltimore Ravens that used to be consistent was they would always have a defense. You know, I remember the days of Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and Suggs, you know, and that crew, you know, and they don't have a defense. Their defense is horrible right now, and that it's startling to see right now for the Ravens is how bad they are defensively. They don't rush the passer well. They don't cover. They don't tackle well. They look like and most equally as embarrassing for the Ravens is they look poorly coached. They look unprepared. You know, and this isn't anything new this season. Like, look at what happened last week when they played the Chiefs. I mean, they made Patrick Mahomes had a field day on them. And look, I know it's Patrick Mahomes, but if we're going to be honest about Patrick Mahomes has not had big passing days in a couple of years for the Chiefs, if you're going to be honest. But against the Ravens, man, he lit them up. And then you look at the game against the Detroit Lions a couple of weeks ago. Detroit just ran all over them with Jahmyr Gibbs and Ty Montgomery. Like, those dudes was able to run the ball on the Ravens defense a couple of weeks ago. And they put up I think they put up like 40 points or something like that. So, man, the Ravens look terrible right now. And and the thing to me is, like, I've seen people want to criticize Lamar Jackson at times, and I'm just like, what are you guys watching? And look, I get Lamar Jackson, maybe he has a mental block when it comes to playing against the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, maybe he doesn't play his best against that team. Like, if you want to say that Kansas City has Lamar Jackson's number, cool. I can't argue with that. But I mean, Lamar Jackson can't win with this defense right now. I mean, what is he supposed to do? Like, Lamar Jackson has to be perfect on most Sundays, and that's even if he's playing. Obviously he's injured, but if he's playing, and with the way the Ravens defense is looking, he's gonna have to be lights out perfect for the Ravens to even have a chance with this defense right now. And so, man, like, to me, the Ravens defense is a disaster. And John Harbaugh, I gotta look at John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh has been the head coach for the Baltimore Ravens for 17 seasons, since 2008. That is a long time. He's been a head coach, and look, he's had a lot of success. I get it. He had a lot of success when he had Joe Flacco, you know, and he's had some success recently with Lamar Jackson. I get all that. But at some point, we got to ask ourselves, don't you think it might be time for a coaching change? Like, don't you think that John Harbaugh's been with the Ravens so long that sometimes you just might need a new voice to run the team? Because that's kind of how I'm feeling when it comes to the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Ravens need a new coach. I think they need to move on from John Harbaugh. Whether it's during the season, if this continues to get worse, or definitely after the season, I think they need to move on from John Harbaugh, and they need to get some new, fresh blood up in that team, in that organization. Because I think it's time. I think it's time for the Ravens to get a new head coach. And look, that doesn't even mean that John Harbaugh's a bad coach. He's had some success. Like, sometimes you just need a new, fresh start. You need a new voice. Like, Andy Reid's one of the elite coaches ever. He was in Philadelphia for a good bit. And they won at a high level in Philadelphia. And then they started losing. And then Philadelphia ended up letting Andy Reid go. And Philadelphia, even after them letting Andy Reid go, Andy Reid had success with the Chiefs. And the Philadelphia Eagles won a couple of Super Bowls, including this last year's Super Bowl, and also the Super Bowl in 2017 with some new coaches. And so it's possible to let go of a coach that's been there for so long, and for you to get some new fresh blood in there and to have a re-energized franchise that can take you to new heights. I'm just saying. And so for the Baltimore Ravens, I'm just trying to throw out some suggestions here. Like, if I'm the Baltimore Ravens, it might just be time for them to move on from John Harbaugh, because I don't know if he can fix this team any longer. I don't know if he can. I don't think this team is listening to him. I think his voice is kind of getting a little stale on that team, and you kind of see it in their effort level. Like, you look at the Ravens defensively. I mean, they're just they're unrecognizable. This football team with the Baltimore Ravens is unrecognizable. They've imploded. They look like a hot mess. They look like one of the worst teams in football. And for someone like me saying this, it's pretty shocking, because I was all in on the Ravens to win the Super Bowl coming into the season, and they look anything but like a Super Bowl team. They look like hot trash. Like, they just do, man. And I just don't know what else to say, man. Like, even offensively, like, what happened to Derrick Henry? Like, Derrick Henry, I made an argument maybe a couple of weeks ago that, like, Derrick Henry is one of the elite backs in the league, along with Bijan Robinson and Saquon Barkley and Jahmyr Gibbs. You know, like, in the last couple of weeks, man, like, they're barely giving him the ball. And so like I said, man, the Ravens are they're all kinds of hot mess right now. And I just don't think this thing can be fixed. Like, they look cooked. The Baltimore Ravens look cooked right now. And it's just a bummer right now. But that's all I have for the Baltimore Ravens. Another team that I want to talk about is the Dallas Cowboys. And I have a little bit of a confession to make when it comes to Dallas Cowboys. I might have been wrong on the Dallas Cowboys. I might have underestimated the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys look pretty good. And look, I know they play the New York Jets, and we can say that the Jets might be the worst team in the league. And you know what? You might be right. The Jets might be the worst team in the league. But you know what? I don't think that takes away from how good the Cowboys have looked, specifically Dak Prescott. And I got to admit this. I think I might have owed Dak Prescott an apology. Because you know what, Dak Prescott? I wasn't familiar with your game. I was not familiar with your game, Dak Prescott. I don't know if people have been watching Dak Prescott this year, but the man has been cooking. Man is balling right now, man. Dak Prescott is doing it to the tune. You look at his numbers through 5 games. He has 10 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. His quarterback rating is 101, and he's 3rd in the entire league in QBR with 74. Dak Prescott, dare I say, might be the MVP of the entire NFL. And now, look, I know it's early. It's a long way to go. And it's only been 5 games, and the Cowboys are 2-1. I get all that. But if I'm being honest, if the MVP if I had to give the MVP award to anyone after these 5 games, I would give it to Dak Prescott. He's been outstanding for the Cowboys. And I thought against the Jets, and yes, I know it's against the New York Jets. They're pathetic. They're lowly. I got it. But Dak Prescott has been he's been outstanding, man. He's been outstanding for the Cowboys. I mean, and by the way, keep this in mind. I think the last couple of weeks he's been without CeeDee Lamb, their best wide receiver. He's out with an injury, and so for Dak Prescott to help for him to elevate the Cowboys offense without his best receiver, like, you look at the Cowboys and what they have on offense right now. It's not any like eye-opening names. Like, it just isn't. Like, George Pickens might be their best receiver at the moment. He's had moments in Pittsburgh and he's made some plays. But I'm looking at the Cowboys offense and I'm like, if CeeDee Lamb can come back healthy, and you get CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens and everything else that the Cowboys have on offense, I mean, the Cowboys could be some trouble. Like, and with how Philadelphia looked against the Broncos and some of their offensive issues, well, I don't want to get into them, but clearly they got some issues on the offensive side of the ball. You know, A.J. Brown, not really too happy with him not getting the ball. Philadelphia not really using them. Weirdly enough, speaking of struggling running backs, like, they're not running the ball as well with Saquon Barkley. And so the Eagles got some issues on the offensive side of the ball. And so if I'm the Cowboys and I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at the fact that I actually played the Eagles tough on opening night and arguably should have won against the Eagles if it wasn't for some drop passes by CeeDee Lamb in that game. Like, if I'm the Cowboys, I'm looking at the situation that I have with the NFC East, and I'm looking at the fact that the Eagles are struggling a little bit on offense. And I'm looking at the fact that the Washington Commanders have a little bit of a suspect defense. And I'm looking at the fact that the New York Giants are the New York Giants. Like, they're just trash. They lost to the Saints. And so I'm just going to dismiss the Giants. So I'm looking at the teams in the NFC East, and I'm like, why not us? Why not the Dallas Cowboys? Why can't we win the NFC East? And coming from me, who I kind of wrote this team off after they got rid of Micah Parsons. And look, I'm not gonna say that was a good decision by the Cowboys. I still think they're kind of insane to move on from Micah Parsons. But I gotta tell you, Cowboys are looking good, man. They looking good. And if I'm a Cowboy fan, I'm looking at the NFC East, and I gotta tell you, man, like, they have a chance. They have a shot in that division. And you look at how wide open the NFC is in general. You know, if their defense can just play average, and I know, look, man, I know might be a little bit of a tall task, you know, but if their defense can just play average, because they look pretty good against the Jets, and they showed to add a little bit of a pass rush a little bit. Like, if you can get that level of defense along with what the Cowboys are already doing on offense, who knows, man? Why not the Dallas Cowboys? And I can't look, man. I can't believe I'm saying some nice things about the Dallas Cowboys, but hey, man, as an observer watching the NFL, I gotta give credit where credit is due, man. Like, the Cowboys are looking good. Dak Prescott, he's looking good. He's balling. Right now, I gotta say he's the MVP of the NFL, man. He's balling. Dak attack. Shout out to Dak Prescott, man. He deserves some credit for what he's doing to the Dallas Cowboys.